الحمد لله رب العالمين صلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وبعد. We were supposed to do before the hadith of Imam al-Nawawi about the Salat al-Asri. After that, afternoon prayer. ولكن قدر الله ما شاء فعل ضعف جسمي لي ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يكتب لي أجرا عظيم. But I was very tired, and the Prophet mentioned أحب أعمال إلى الله أدومه ولو قل. Sallam, he said in the Sahih Bukhari Muslim, the most beloved actions from amongst them to Allah is the ones that you do on a consistent basis, even if it be small. So, Sallam also mentioned for the one who does something on a regular basis. And we already said the narration where he said even if it be small. So imagine you do something from time to time, but you're consistent with the time to time. Then you become sick. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى العافية في الدنيا والآخرة لنا ولكم. Ask Allah to give us good well-being, physical, mentally and spiritually. Give us a partner in this life and hereafter. Ameen. But sometimes you get sick or you become very unable. Then Prophet said, for the one who used to do something on a regular basis, when he can't do it, Allah will give him the reward for that action as if he did it. So, inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, we received reward for our intention, but however, I apologize if those people were waiting for the lesson. Also, tonight is our night, Muqbil night, in which we chose at least 4 months ago or so, that on Friday nights we'll talk from some of the Masail من Imam Muqbil ibn Hadi al-Wada'i of Yemen. We'll talk about some of the lessons of Imam Muqbil, some of the lessons of our great Imam of Yemen, who was from the great Imams of our time. So tonight we're going to talk about Shahad al-Dawah. Shahad al-Dawah. And this term the Shaykh used when some of the people became premier people of knowledge. They became premier people of knowledge. They became people that were so grounded in the knowledge of the deen, from the teachings and the benefit that they received from the Shaykh, that he used to have them do major works of classical works. And then they went astray. بما أعلم ينحرفوا وضربوا هؤلاء شيخنا مقبل. They went astray, and thus the Shaykh, after being patient and advising them, and seeing the people being affected by them, then he started to strike at their necks with speech and refutations and so forth. And they earned the title Shahad al-Dawah, the thieves of the Dawah. Someone is scrubbing or building something. It's very distracting. Oh. If it's a necessity, then you have to be lenient. But in the lesson, we shouldn't do it.
I'm sorry.
Allah bless you. Give you Jannah. So the Shaykh named them Shahad al-Dawah, the thieves of the Dawah. And what this indicates, what this denotes is that, firstly, we need to talk about the term Dawah. Dawah, Tabarak wa Ta'ala mentioned in his noble book, Id'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal ma'ithatul hasana wa jadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Allah said, and call to the way of your Lord. So Id'u is the command form of da'wah. And da'wah has many meanings. Sometimes da'wah means the statement La ilaha illallah. The statement La ilaha illallah. Sometimes dawah, it means invocation, when you call on Allah. Sometimes dawah, it means acts of worship. We'll give examples. Of Tabaraku wa Ta'ala, He mentioned again in the Quran when He said, وَأَنَّ مَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ, and indeed, وَأَنَّ مَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ, and that the places of worship for the worship of Allah, not for the worship of Jesus, not for the worship of Buddha, not from the worship of anyone but Allah. And then Allah said, وَلَا تَدْعُوا مَا اللَّهِ أَحَدًا, therefore do not tad'u, which is dawah. Do not tad'u, you all do not make this dawah except to Allah in these houses. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, الدعاء هو العبادة, in the hadith of Imam al-Tirmidhi and Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. This hadith is authentic. وَصَحَّحَهُ Imam al-Albani rahimahullah, and Imam al-Albani also deems it to be sahih. So we know from this ayah, وَأَنَّ مَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا in Surah Al-Jinn. And from this hadith of Sallam saying that dua is ibadah, then we know this is one of the meanings of dawah. As dawah and dua, they're interchangeable. Dawah and dua, they're interchangeable. That's why Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab ibn Sulaiman al-Tamimi al-Najdi rahimahullahu ta'ala, he said, Bab Fatlu Da'watu La ilaha illallah. Naam, the virtue of the dawah La ilaha illallah. But it means the pronunciation, the statement La ilaha illallah. And then he also mentioned Yani Bab Ad-du'a ghayr Allah, dua to other than Allah, which is shirk. So here, dawah and dua, they're interchangeable. And they carry various meanings. Again, we said, dua could mean you're asking Allah. Da'wah also could mean you're asking Allah. Da'wah also carries the meaning of ibadah, as Allah mentioned clearly in Surah Al-Jinn. And da'wah also, it could mean, barakallahu fikum, the shahada. Kama qala an-Nabi sallam in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, where he said that Mu'adh ibn Jabal reported to him. This hadith is an example that a companion can narrate on a companion. Who was Abdullah ibn Abbas? He's a companion, right? And then he narrated from Mu'adh the story about himself. Who was Mu'adh? Companion. So Prophet Sallam told Mu'adh, Ya Mu'adh, إِنَّكَ تَقَدِمُ عَلَى قَوْمٍ مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ. You are about to go, you're about to approach, you're about to meet a people from the book. What does this mean? So the Prophet sent him to Yemen. So therefore Mu'adh said, لَمَّا بَعَثَنِي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ إِلَى Yemen. He's telling Abdullah ibn Abbas, when the Prophet sent me to Yemen, he said, Ya Mu'adh, إِنَّكَ تَقَدِمُ عَلَى قَوْمٍ min ahl al-kitab. You're about to come across, you're about to come in contact, you're about to meet a people of the book. And another wording, he said, innaka satati ila qawmin min ahl al-kitab. You're about to go to a people of the book. فَلْيَكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَا تَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَيْهِ. Let the first thing that you call them to, تَدْعُوهُمْ. One narration said, and yuwahid Allah jalla wa ula, that you tell them about the Tawheed of Allah, the Mighty Sublime. Another narration said, Yani shahadatu, an la ilaha illallah. Call them to the shahada. And another wording, Yani ibadatullahi wahda, the worship of Allah. So here we see da'wah has a broad meaning. And thus the Shaykh said, these people shahada da'wah. They were the thieves of the da'wah. Allah musta'an, we talk about this issue today. It has become clear that some people don't understand what is the dawah. You will find brothers saying, yeah, man, you know, the dawah, man, subhanallah, this dawah, mashallah. But he doesn't understand being kind to the neighbors. You'll find a person bragging, saying, yeah, I'm on this dawah, subhanallah, mashallah. But he's trying to force you to take an opinion of someone of knowledge. You'll find a person saying, this blessed dawah, mashallah, tabarakallah, this dawah is the haq. But he himself is representing something of bid'ah or hizbiyyu, being of a group or a sect or hizb. So this, we need to understand that the sheikh is making the statement, shahada dawah, because some people perpetrate. And the sheikh, he didn't care, Imam Muqbil, that they were close to him. Didn't stop him that they were beloved to him. Even that they were his students that he groomed from a young man age to, middle age. Some of these people were 18 years with the sheikh. 20 years with the sheikh. With lessons day and night. Even so much so, some of them, the sheikh, he married to his daughter, Fatima. As he had two daughters, Aisha, and then he had Fatima. And the oldest one, Fatima, he married to one of those people of knowledge from amongst the students, and then that person, he went astray. So the sheikh took her back. He nullified it with the khula. Because that father can do that, go to the court and take this back. He's a mujrim, he's mubtada, he's the dhalim, he's shahada dawah, he's a thief of the dawah. What does this mean? Yani someone is claiming باسم الدعوة أو هو في يعني ماذا تحت الستار يعني الدعوة باسم السنة وباسم السلفية وهو ماذا شهادة الدعوة. But he's a thief of the dawah, meaning he has some things of the religion, has some things of the sunnah, has some things of the way of a salaf salih, but he's mixing them. And you don't understand, you don't see it behind the clothes, shahada dawah, a thief of the dawah. Some of them came to America. They didn't know that the sheikh had taken this position. So they were going around teaching people, say, mashallah, from Tulab Sheikh Muqbil, alhamdulillah, they're from the ulama of Yemen, mashallah. وَمَا تَقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُمْ تَجِدُوهُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. Naam. And the sheikh said it like that, and the talking about them in Yemen, because somebody made the phone call and said, wait a minute, we have so-and-so and so-and-so here from your students. But it reached us that you've been changing your opinion about them. They're here in America using your name, and they're gathering money. And they will tell the people, whatever you give, you will find it with the law. Gathering money. And then the sheikh opened the mic on them and let the people know, don't give them anything. لَأَنَّهُمْ شَهَادَ الدَّعْوَةِ. They went astray and they're perpetrating. They're stealing from the religion, meaning perpetrating. This, wallahu musta'an, if we look at it today, is part of the fitna that we have. Part of the fitna. And the people are ongoing with this thing. You know what I'm saying? They're not being realistic about the problem, neither the approach. And for Salam, he mentioned, for the one in the time of tribulation, for the one in the time of difficulty. You got to put something back on, it's getting hot. إما هذا وهذا من فضلك جزاكم الله خير. In the time of turmoil, the Shaykh said, rahimahullah ta'ala, al-ibadatu fil haraj kal hijratu ilayya. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, the one who's grounding himself, the one who's steeping his or herself in ibadah during the time of fitna, kal hijrati ilayya. It's like the one who left Mecca or Ethiopia or Europe or Yemen or any place in the world, and they made hijrah to the Prophet. The one in the time of fitna. I'll quote the hadith again of the Prophet. Sheikh Muqbil quoted this a lot of times in his books and on his audio. He said, al-ibadatu fil haraj. Yani haraj means fitna. Whether it be lashing with the tongue, slandering, whether it be someone actually fighting physically and shedding blood, all of this is fitna. Confusion. People calling to themselves in the name of, we're on the haq, but they're bringing the people to them. They're calling the people to that program. All of this is inclusive and haraj. The Shaykh said ibadah. Al-ibadatu fil haraj. Being grounded, staying focused, not lending the ear to every argument and every text and everything on Facebook and all the other social medias. As the Prophet said, like making hijrah to me. And the Shaykh, he clarified, he said, your reward won't be like Mada Mus'ab ibn Umair or Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and those great Sahaba who left Mecca and went with the Prophet to Medina. But the point is, you'll get a reward like the one who's leaving something of evil going to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But it won't be equal to those who actually physically made the hijrah with the Prophet. But the Prophet is making a parable how much this is important for you to be grounded in the time of fitna, to be grounded in the time of tribulation, to be grounded in the time of confusion, to worship. Be grounded. Iqbal ala talib ilm. Yani focus yourself on seeking ilm. While the people arguing and posting and too late, all night, you busy yourself with worship. And worship, Allah musta'an, could be worshiping Allah by way of making salah. Make some sunnahs. Some people never make sunnahs, and they claim they're on the sunnah. Some people claim, I'm found the way of Salaf Salih, I'm Salafi. He never makes sunnahs. Miskina. Allah musta'an. How can you be on the sunnah? How can you be upon the way of as-salaf? You don't pray in the night. You're up, eating chicken, chips, drinking, watching movies, whatever. And then you go to sleep. You don't pray in the night. Allah musta'an. So this, is the first thing that the Shaykh is talking about when he talks about ibadah. One of them is being dedicated, being devoted, being grounded in the ibadah in the time of fitna. Not getting sucked into the fitna. Every fitna comes, some people jump on it and get swept away. And we see this. While in America, they are the heads of the Dawah, so they claim. They are the heads of the masajid, so they like. They are the heads of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah on the weight of the madhab of the Salaf Salih. Give me a break. It's no way. It's thus Shaykh called these people Shahad al-Dawah. Thieves of the Dawah. Thieves of the Dawah. And the Shaykh, Allah musta'an, he used to come down hard on the people for begging. For begging. I remember after Sheikh Mukbil died, I came home for a short time and I went back. And I was amazed how the classes used to be held in the masjid by a student that everybody said he's from the top student of Sheikh Mukbil. From the top student of Sheikh Mukbil. Where did they get this from? As the top students of Sheikh Mukbil, they became shuyukh. Like Sheikh Yahya ibn Ali al-Hajuri. And somebody I know is going to say he's mentioning him, he's a straight listen. Sheikh Mukbil called the man an alim. Sheikh Mukbil in his old writings called him an alim. Called him muhaddith, faqih, and nasi, amin, trustworthy advisor. Yahya bin Najmi, the great scholar of the south of Saudi, who was a qadi and from the kibar ulama, called Sheikh Yahya alim during that time. Although they had so much commotion surrounding them, and they oppressed one another, fought back and forth, and the people began to be sucked into that. Sheikh Rabi' even called him one time, he's from amongst the most brilliant and the most intelligent of the Salafis that we have. Allah musta'an. So yes, this was the case of the likes of Sheikh Yahya. And even if he goes astray, he can make tawbah. As we understand, Allah musta'an, some of the scholars have mentioned, take from him now. After having the problem in 2013 and 14, this is now 2017, almost 18, 4 or 5 years. We haven't heard any fitna from him. We haven't heard any erroneous statements. We haven't heard those mistakes. Rather, we've heard that he's made tawbah. Even the latest report from authentic sources, they said even in Saudi, no one is talking about it, including Sheikh Rabi'a. And that they have squashed the issue, which is long overdue. But people are still talking about him as if he's nobody or he's astray. And these people that will do that, they're shahad al-dawah. They're stealing from the dawah. Because they're acting as if they're upon the dawah, but they're perpetrating. Likewise, when you talk about the issue, Allah musta'an, of putting people in front of people that really have not studied, or they studied a little bit. Some people study 6 months, some people studied a year, some people 18 months, but people make like their premier stars on Hollywood. Oh, he's elite, he's from the top students of the Shaykh, Allah musta'an. And we know, the top students of the Shaykh, their knowledge showed that they were from the top students of the Shaykh. They became ulama. Ulama. And even if they got caught in fitna, you can still look at their works and see, he got caught in fitna, but that man's an Allah. We don't have anybody from Yemen here in America like that from amongst our people that's caught into this fitna. Not Abu Hassan Malik, wala Hassan Somali, wala Shaykh. None of them. Hatta ana lastu bi min ulama. La ana talib. Naam, saghir, alhamdulillah. So how could that be? Those people that didn't spend half the time that I spent the match, they're from the premier students of Sheikh Mukbil. They're from the well-known ulama in America, so you say, from amongst us. This is yani shahada dawah. And for them, they should have been yani muttaqi. They should have been a person who had enough taqwa to tell the people, don't say that. And I know they know it, because it's all in their circles. Allah musta'an. So this is example shahada dawah. I'm not afraid what somebody's going to say. And this is an advice that the Shaykh himself blamed us for being like this. Shahada dawah, stealing from the dawah. Also begging, as the point I was making, wallahi, the people didn't do this even in the time of Imam Yani Abdullah Ahmed Abu Uwais, rahimahullah ta'ala, when he was at Masjid Rahmah. They didn't gather money all the time. The people that had to pay him his salary, and I know from Hanif Kairin, Abu Abdullah of Newark, who was the mudir during that time, that they made the contract to pay the imam his money. And he would not come to Newark from Ohio until they had 6 months of his money in a type of investment fund, or had it where they can prove we got your money. Because you know Bubba liked to play. And this is a nickname we call Negroes, Bubba. Like Bubba on Fred Sanford with the wine bottle, call him Bubba. Yeah, Bubba liked to play. See, everybody else, they're about money. Bubba liked the nickel and dime. You got a man spent 13, 14 years of his life seeking ilm. You want him to come to you, and then on top of that, he's going to leave where he was in Ohio, where the people respected him, loved him, took care of him, and you're going to nickel and dime him? Sheikh said, no, you got to give me my money 6 months up front. Alhamdulillah. They did it. Saved that money. Then the Sheikh came to Newark, and I was able to meet him and squash any problem that we had prior when he came to Newark. Alhamdulillah, rahmatullah alayhi, Imam Abu Wais. But you didn't find the Sheikh, yani Allah musta'an, gathering wealth. But some from amongst them, and we know that this was a no-no from the Dawah of Sheikh Mukbil. Abu Hassan Malik, he knows better that you shouldn't be gathering money, waiting for the people to drop their money every time you do a dawah. So wallahi, I witnessed it in Masjid Rahmah in 2002-3 when he was teaching. He would come 2-3 times a week because he didn't have an imam. Abu Uwais had died. Himahullah. Rather, this was 2000, yani barakallahu fikum, 4, on my way back to Yemen. Then we changed the date, 4. He would come, he would teach from one book of Al-Albani. Then he was teaching from Arba'in Nabawiyah. And then he was teaching something else, slipped my mind, but I'm sure he was teaching from a book of Imam Al-Albani. And he was teaching Arba'in Nabawiyah. While the people stand up, wallahi, you're talking about people maybe didn't graduate from the 8th grade. You think they're going to memorize this stuff in Arabic? You tell them, boom, stand up like you're in the match. The guy already embarrassed, scared, but he want to be a student. He heard about the stories of the match. For them, Masjid Rahmah, any Masjid Sunnah Nabawiyah, for them, this is their time to be in the match. In their mind, in their heart, and their soul. So the poor guy stands up, he struggles with 2 or 3 words, and I'll tell him, Ijli, sit down. Man, you had not Sheikh Mukbil. How you going to humiliate somebody like that? And this guy might have been 55, 48. You were a young man at that time. He may be old enough to be your father. You doing this? But before the dars, Umar Abdul Baath would come out, which he was on administration at that time, put down the sajada, they like to call it, prayer round, and would say, okay, everybody knows what sins they have with them. Everybody knows what they do. We need to put this money together before the class so that we can pay our brother Abu Hassan. We'll have an agreement. They would put the money. I said, subhanallah. And I couldn't say nothing because the first thing would say, he making fitna. Because I had a reputation for speaking out when there was something wrong. So I couldn't say nothing. They would have jumped on me, oh, this, which we already had some prior incident there where I spoke to Haq and they made a big problem for me. Allah Musta'an. So Allah Musta'an, what's the point? This Shahada Dawah. The dawah is that you don't beg. And I know they said we have fatwa from the ulama Saudiya. The government don't take care of our masajid. Actually, in some of those countries, all the masajid is not taken by the government either. Some of them are built and taken care of by the government. But some of them are taken care of and built by the everyday common folk and the business people. Why can't we do that? Why can't we put our monies together as communities, as business people, as common folk, and buy buildings? Why do we have to beg? And we did it. We know it can be done because we're on 61 Lincoln Street in East Orange. After Dawah the Thieves administration ended in 94 and Abu Muslima became the Imam, it took us, Allah Musta'an, just shy of 2 years to raise $225,000. We weren't asking nobody. We didn't go outside to any country. Say, give your money for the sake of Allah so we can buy this building. People got second jobs. Some people got part-time jobs and they were already working full-time. Some people were hustling and they were putting their money without anybody asking every Friday, every lecture, every khutbah until we got what we needed. And then one person stood up that particular Jumu'ah. That particular Jumu'ah when he was talking about the soul and the munafiqeen and giving for the sake of Allah. And he quoted the ayah, تِلْكَ أُمَّةٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَلَكُمْ مَا كَسَبَتُمْ وَلَا تُسْأَلُونَ عَمَّا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. These are the prior nations that existed. What they did, Allah is going to ask them about. And you will not be questioned about what they used to do. You will be questioned about what you did or didn't do. Then at the end of the khutbah, after we made the salat, one person stood up and he said, I have a check for $110,000. Because we were $110,000 in the hole. We needed $335,000, and that we really negotiated because the building was worth $1 million. We had $335,000 negotiation, $225,000 on the table from everyday working people, including myself. One man gave $110,000. The deal was closed. But we weren't begging every Friday. Hatim andukum, hatim andukum. Give me what you got. Making people feel bad if you don't give. You're a munafiq. This dawah. Nah. And the Sheikh mentioned in this book, Dhamm al-Mas'ala, the blameworthy affairs, all of the affairs about asking about money, and he had one exception for asking, when it was durura. You had no other choice. But he also taught us, Imam Muqbil, that you gather the tujara, the business people, who have good hearts, and they know what time it is. You meet with them, and you make a plan, and they invest in order to circulate the money and buy these things. What do you think they did in Yemen? They never had a sadaqah box in Damaj. They never asked anybody for anything. You seen masajid built, water reservoirs built. Allah Musta'an, new wudu station. What you think? Somebody tweaked their nose like bewitching their appeared? No. Came from money that people put down. And they were not begging in the name of the dawah, as we claim. Why? Because the Sheikh said, these are shahada dawah. You are a thief of the dawah if you take this approach. Now, وَهَكَذَا بَارَكَ اللَّهُ فِيكُمْ. Issue of how you deal with your wives. People weren't beating on their wives in the match. Man, the rate of beating on the wives is so high in America, a cat can win a Grammy Award. Allahu Musta'an. No shame that his wife eyes big, swole up, like she was in the fight with Joe Frazier or Ken Norton. No shame. Then you have the nerve at the end of the night. If he makes it that long, maybe the middle of the day, call her to the room and want her to bend over. Are you serious? and holler, my right, my right, my right. Are you serious? You have the right to have your behind kicked. Always want to put your hands on some woman. And then you get on the masajid, yani on the manabir, the minbar, and you tell people, Ittaqillah, haqqad liqad, wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Allah. This is shahada dawah. It's a person, he is a thief of the dawah. You can't perpetrate. This is what the word shahad entails. Don't perpetrate. And we're not, of course, malaika. We're not angels. But you have to be about what you say. And you have to say and do what you claim. You have to. Tabarak wa ta'ala says, لِمَا تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ كَبْرَ مَقْتًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَن تَقُولُوا مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. Naam. Allah said, why do you say that which you don't do? You just keep your mouth shut. If you have something in your heart, Allah already knows. Maybe you can get it together before you die. You can taskir to the full. You can give some money, purify, get that rust off. But if you start saying stuff and then in your heart is the opposite, this makes it worse, man. And this is, by the way, one of the characteristics of nifaq. إِذَا حَدَّثَ مَاذَا كَذَابَ. When he speaks, he lies. وقد ذكر العلماء أن الكذب هو يعني الذي ما يخالف الواقع. That which is the opposite of what really occurred. You say one thing, that don't happen. You say another thing, it's the opposite. This is yani shahada dawah, thief of the dawah. And this the Sheikh was serious about, because he used to mention da'watuna min kitabillah wa min sunnati rasulillah. Our invitation, our call, our principles is taken from the book of Allah and from the authentic sunnah of the Messenger of Allah. Ila kitabillah wa ila sunnati rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. And it's to the book of Allah and to the sunnah of this Messenger. Understand again. Where's your da'wah? It comes from what? The book of Allah. It's extracted from Allah's book, the Quran, and the authentic sunnah. Now, does that necessarily mean that you have to be called into that? No. You can use the ayat, you can use the hadith, and call to a whole lot of schism and isms. We've seen that before. And put a nice dress on it of Islam and Sunnah. وَمَا هُوَ مِنَ الدِّينِ بِشَيْءٍ. And it's nothing of the religion. So that's why the Shaykh said our da'wah, our Islam, our ibadah, our call, our worship has to be from the book of Allah. Textual from the book of Allah. Textual from the authentic sunnah of the Messenger. A proof, a legitimate thing from your prophet. Then your invitation, your thing that you reference to, the thing that you invite somebody to, the thing that you cooperate with one another has to be towards the book of Allah and towards the sunnah of his messenger. Why? Because we found people were bringing their da'wah from the book and the sunnah, but they were calling it to something else. And the Shaykh mentioned shahada da'wah. Shahada da'wah. So wallahi, this is something we're suffering from, and wallahi, who knew better than Imam Muqbil had to deal with all of this communism and all the schisms and isms and all of the fighting, even to the point some of his students went astray. The Sheikh had to fight about this stuff during his lifetime. Wallahu musta'an. So in conclusion, let us examine what we're doing. The first line of fixing this is tawbah again. We have to make tawbah. And the tawbah is firstly between you and Allah. People say that all the time. My tawbah is between me and Allah. As if it don't include the people. Yes, sometimes it includes the people. But the first thing is between you and Allah. That means you have to be sincere. Acknowledge what you have with you. If you don't, then you become like the shaitan. The difference between Iblis and Adam acknowledged, felt bad about it, tried to change it, asked Allah for, to relent to him, to accept his, regret, and he, I'm not going to go back. But Iblis was the opposite. Stubborn, hard-headed, arrogant. And he's not going to admit anything. And then on top of that, he's going to blame Allah. And that's what we see now. The people blaming the other people. Wallahi, the brothers created all of this chaos. And you helped them in that. Wallahi, the crew helped in that. And we're not talking about the innocent people who jump on the bandwagon, think they know Salafiyah, think they're upon the Sunnah. And they run in their mouth, they have no idea, run in their mouth worse than some person who has diarrhea. We're not talking about them. They get the udhr bijahl. They excuse because their ignorance is really clear. But the ru'us fi hadhihi ahzab, though heads of this type of clique, his, as Tabarak Ta'ala, he said, everyone is in this group and he's happy. Tell me they're not happy with this. While the ulama now telling them for months, almost maybe a year or so, all of them, including Sheikh Rabi'a, stop. Whether Sheikh Rabi'a told them in 2013, stop. Let's count. Let's see who knows math. 14, Arba'ata Ashur fi Arabiya. 15, Khamsata Ashur fi Arabiya. 16, Sittata Ashur fi Arabiya. 17, Sabata Ashur fi Arabiya. And now we're almost at 18. We can't do the simple math. It looked like the locomotive is going and the conductor's pumping the brakes and ain't no stopping. Allah no stopping. Tell me this ain't Shahada Dawah. And people get mad and say, this about, oh, you're attacking the Salafi. But nah, actually, they Salafi have been gone a long time ago. But because of the emotions of the people, because of the instability of the people's mind, we want to take the high road and hold up. But if we really put this thing under the microscope, if we went back to the teacher of Imam Mukbil, wallahi, there would have been Hizbis a long time ago, because they know better. وَيَدْعُوا إِلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَيَدْعُوا إِلَىٰ حِزْبُ كَذَا وَكَذَا وَيَدْعُوا إِلَىٰ فُلَانٍ وَإِعْلَانٍ اللَّهُ مُسْتَعَانٍ. And yeah, while they use the ayat and hadith, statements of the ulama, they call into this and that person and this platform. This is Shahada Dawah. And that's why we ain't got no fruits. And if we do, they all rotten. Straight up. From amongst it, beating on our wives. Man, the cats in the nation was doing this, man. The guys in Jahiliyyah, the pimps and pushers, was doing this. My mother, when she was alive, she suffered this stuff from my father from back in the 60s. Shooting drugs, beating the hell out of my mother. We were too little to bust him in the head or something because he was a big cat. You know what I mean? Now we come to Islam. We claim we're upon the haq. We got kitab or sunnah. Raise our thobe halfway above the calf. We got lihya. And we beating our wives. What kind of Islam is this? Are you Salafiyya hada? What Salafi is this? And there are many things you can do. If you're frustrated or your wife get on your nerves, there's a lot of things. Beating her is not an option. Likewise, the sister can't be in this space. Nigga, I'm from Brooklyn. Can't be like that, sister. Can't be in his face. I ain't scared of you. You better go ahead. Because she from Philly. Lie. What we going to do with this? And we claim we're upon the haq. If you need to have some space to give your mate a little bit of room sometime, that's better than, fighting and tearing up the place. As the people like to say, why you got such a nice pad, Abu Abdurrahman, talking about me. Just you and your wife, and we working on some righteous children in this crazy world. May Allah give it to us. I mean. I said, y'all should, all y'all need is a one bedroom. Man, you crazy? I got to have extra room. But so my wife started tripping, I'm going in the other room, pal. Yeah, we got to keep that extra bed. You start tripping, boy, get yourself together. I'm out of here. You might make it half the night, think about that thing. Sorry, boo. It works, alhamdulillah. And sometimes, you trip. Man, where my wife at? We only got a few stairs. She's still coming up like she coming up an escalator. She went in the other room because you was tripping. Looking at the clock. For me, I can't look at the clock. I hit the button. 12:49 a.m. I said, man, Boo said she was coming up at 9 o'clock. Then I recollect, oh boy, I just said something foul. 2:47 a.m. By the time it's 3:15, like, Boo, where you at? Then she come on in and give me a break. But she got that extra room. And then sometimes you just don't want to be bothered. These are some of the things you can do. But to beat on the woman, Allah musta'an, man. Imagine if we switch roles with the woman for one day. We have to have a menses. Allah musta'an, know the bells like, ew. You got to carry the jugs. You don't imagine. You know, the chest sometimes is weight on their back, like carrying, you know, equipment. We don't realize that. It look good to us, but we don't know what it's like to have to carry those things around. They got to cook. They might not be feeling well. They got to do this in the house. They might have had a bad night, couldn't sleep well, didn't tell you. They, you know, they got so many things to do. And if they work outside the house, forget it. Then on top of all of that, they got to take a butt kicking in the name of, I'm the man. You listen to me. Allah said, Rijala Kuamuna ala Nisa. Allah said, men over women. But make sure you go to the tafsir, remember Tabari, and read. Part of this being up over her is that you should have enough constitution, enough sabr, enough class, enough dignity that you could be patient enough not to beat on. Somebody gonna say, well then why did Allah say what dribuhun, beat them? When you go and look at the history, they was beating the hell out of the women in Mecca, putting it on them. And the women were subservient, but they had no like they can't call 911. If they go to somebody, the tribe gonna side with the men. We already understood. And when they made the hijrah to Al-Medina, there's some narrations that they found the Ansar the opposite. The Ansar was like, you know, our women who, you know, let you know what time it is, you know, hitting on the men. So they said, wait a minute, we've never seen this before. They men, you know, the women hitting on them. So of course, Allah Ta'ala revealed it to curve it, meaning, don't beat the women. You know, because really, if you're going to beat them, like Abdullah ibn Abbas mentioned, with a miswak, or what Prophet said more than what the companion said, so the Prophet said, hit them with something that that which doesn't break the bone, cause any bruising or pain. So imagine what type of hit that you can give a person doesn't bruise, doesn't break, and doesn't cause pain. That's almost like saying don't hit them. To a people who their mind is beat them. It's almost like wean yourself from this crap because it's oppression, but they got to tell you in a way that you think that I'm not telling you. While we fast forward 1438, almost 39, 2017, and people still beating the hell out of their wives. No, this can't be tolerated from a person that is going to go that far. Allah musta'an. So we ask Tabarak wa Ta'ala, as we do not want to be shahada dawah. We don't want to be those people perpetrating with upright from the people of the haq, from the people of the dawah, from the people of la ilaha illallah, from the people of sunnah, from the people of salafi, and all of this means the same, by the way. Even if some sheikh told you that salafiyah is one thing and being sunni is another, wallahi, we can refute that all day long. We can refute that all day long. At the end of the day, we barely Muslim. You want to argue about how much Sunnah and Salafi you are. Are you serious? And if you beating your wife, you almost ain't a man. And you daggone sure can't be from the people of the Dawah except for Shahada Dawah. You are a thief of the Dawah. So we ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to cover our shortcomings, but to make us realize we can't play Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't play a game with the fire, and you cannot be upon this religion, cannot be upon this way of the Prophet, cannot be upon the illustrious way of as-Salaf as-Salih, and be shahad. You have to be upright. As the Prophet said, Qul amantu billahi famastaqim. Say that I believe in Allah tabarak wa ta'ala and be upright. And lastly, somebody, wallah musta'an, I'm going to give him husnul dan, put something, and since it was open, it wasn't in the messenger like inbox, put something about 2004, on my way back to Yemen after Sheikh Mukbil died, gave me a ride. Yeah, they took me from Pennsylvania to New York. I was in Wilkes-Barre, and the brothers that came from Queens, some of the friends of Mustafa George was part-time living in Wilkes-Barre at that time. So the brothers that came, to see, Mustafa, and to see me and so forth like this occasion. So this particular time, the brothers came, they heard I was back in the country for a minute, and that brother volunteered to take me to the airport. I needed a ride. I had money, but the brother volunteered to take me, and I would imagine out of respect that I was a student, I was a person, seeking knowledge, and from his people here in America. And I appreciate that ride. But as we went to the airport, as I had boxes of stuff that my family asked me to bring back, conditioner, shampoo, spices, it's problematic to get that stuff in the third world country sometime. So I had boxes of freight. And I didn't know they were going to charge me $200-300 extra to put them on the plane, as my ticket was paid for. So as we went to check in and they waited, they said, man, you're over. You got to pay $250, $300. I had money, but I didn't have that kind of money. So I was faced with either taking a loss on the stuff that I brought or letting him take it and keep it until I go and send money, because I had money in Egypt, but then I have the money on me. And so I told him, I said, can you just take it and I'll send for it? And he said, no, Sheikh, I got it. Don't worry about it. And he went and took money out of his pocket, gave me $300. I said, mashallah, may Allah bless you. I said, I can send it back to you when I get to Egypt in a couple of days. He said, no, Sheikh, it's okay. Now that, I have to speak out because of oppression, and apparently there's some people that he feels some kind of way that I said something about. Now he's put it on the Facebook. Yeah, I took the brother around from Pennsylvania to New York, for free, and he owes me $300, and I ain't seen him since then. Number one, I didn't borrow anything from you, Ismail Abdul Kabir. Barakallahu fikum. I didn't borrow anything from you. Qul sadiq, be truthful, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala. And you don't tell a person who borrows something, don't worry about the sheikh. If anybody here understands that's loan language, tell me now. You understand that to be loan language?
Yeah.
You understand that to be loan language? No. And I'm not going to do like Usama. If I'm dying, may Allah make me die the death of a Jew. I'm not going to do that. But he knows. And Allah is shaheed bayni wa baynakum. Allah is a witness between me and you. That's how the story went down. Now, all of these years, and I'm sure he knew I was in Wilkes-Barre in 2008. The fitna was humongous. Your people were involved. Your people got some of the, flesh in their teeth. Tooth floss won't take it out. They got knives and platters with the cuisine on it. I'm sure you know that I was, in America. Now, all of a sudden, you want to put this on the public, media to try to show that I have some lack of integrity or put some doubt in somebody, because you can't come back with nothing else. But see, again, this is Shahada Dawah. People claiming on the Dawah, but they're stealing one thing from the Dawah and bringing something else in. Allah musta'an. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you thought you said something to me about a loan, but I know you didn't say nothing about a loan. If you're sincere about that, then inbox me, because we have to have some class about this. And I'm only speaking openly because you sent it in the comment for people to see. You should have inboxed me. If it's anything from this point, personal, inbox me. Because we said again, the honor of the Muslim is sacred. The honor of the Muslim is sacred. Don't try to make me look bad. Allah musta'an. Now, if you're truthful about this, then you will say, like I'm saying, there was no loan involved. But if you're going to insist, I'll eat it in this life. You'll owe me on the day of judgment, because I'm going to give it to you. Inbox me someplace that I can Western Union or wire to your bank from my bank, or send your money order, give me an address, the deal is done. But I'll get it from you on the day of judgment, because you know you didn't loan me anything. You gave it to me as an honor, as a brother, trying to help somebody who was a student, going back to seek knowledge. Wallahu musta'an. ونسأل الله تبارك وتعالى يحق الحق الحق يبطل الباطل إنه سميع الدعاء. That's تبارك وتعالى to make the heart appear as hot and the truth appear to people as falsehood. Verily, He's the one who hears the dua. وصلى الله وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه سلم تسليما كثيرا. Any questions? شوف على فيسبوك في جواب. That's بارك الله فيكم. Give them a minute, because you like to ask once you log off, Any questions on the line? Constructive questions, inshallah.
I don't see any idea.
We'll give them a minute, inshallah. They're like you guys. You wait until we close out and then ask for tomorrow. And we still get the answers. We get the job done, right? I better feel. Smoothies tomorrow. Everybody, smoothies tomorrow on Amir, inshallah. Allah bless him. He got a big pay. He's going to treat everybody smooth. It's Allahu Akbar.
Take a milkshake.
Allah Akbar.
Yes.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا هو أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. آخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.
So you in this pocket, huh? You in this pocket. You knew about that big payday, huh? I don't know what payday he started.